We're making beef bacon today. This is a beef belly brisket, about 12.7 pounds of it. We've got our smaller scale and other ingredients: salt, pink salt, pepper, and a little blend of herbs, rosemary, and thyme. Alright, let's get started. Gonna want to pat dry both sides of the meat with paper towels or a terry cloth towel, something sanitary. Get rid of as much moisture as possible. Should look like a nice powder. Smell like your herbs and black pepper. You want to apply your mixture generously to the meat. You're going to want to get it in all the nooks and crannies on both sides, so save half of it for the reverse side. Go ahead and just start rubbing it in. We're going to repeat this on the other side. We've switched over to the other side, rubbing in the rest of the rub. You can see the cut and what it'll end up being mostly like bacon once we get that all cured and rubbed with some rub. I actually switched my rub selection to a small bowl, make it easier. You can do it however you like. Now once all of your rub is used, your meat should look something like this, with all of it in the nooks and crannies and everything starting to extract moisture. You should start seeing it start to sweat a little bit, and that's how you know the salt is working. Unlike bacon, the beef bacon only takes about a week to cure. And let's transfer it to the pan. This is the pan we're going to be using, a simple 2-inch or 200 hotel pan with some type of a draining rack. We'll do this one-handed here, hand on the camera. Transfer to the rack. Now we've transferred our meat to the rack. We've got the fat side down. Fat side down so that all the moisture gets extracted, pulling it out through the fat. And then we flip it every so often to make sure it cures evenly. Now that we have it quadruple wrapped, don't want any oxygen getting in there. Well, that isn't already in there. Time to go for the fridge. I keep mine in place of where the vegetable crisper drawer is. Take the drawer out, replace it with this large pan. Has just enough clearance when the door closes for it to be inside. All done. Alright, now we've got our bacon curing. It's going to take about a week for us to find any results, possibly up to 2 weeks. You're going to want to check it after about 5 days, make sure it's not sitting in any liquid, drain off any excess liquid that comes out. And yeah, let's check back in 5 days. And we're back checking our beef bacon for dripping. Looks like we got a lot of drippage in there. We're going to go ahead and bring this out and drain it. Go ahead and peel back your 4 or 5 layers of plastic. Beautiful dry meat. Let's go ahead and tilt it, see what liquid we got there. Oh yeah, quite a bit here, so we're going to go ahead and drain that off. Go ahead and begin draining. I went ahead and removed from the pan so I can drain this off real easily. And there's all the moisture coming out of your beef brisket. So we went ahead and flipped our meat, as you can see by the grill mark or grate marks on the other side. Depending on how you peeled off your plastic, you might be able to salvage it and reuse it. Luckily mine was kind of terraformed to the pan. We're going to go ahead and wrap another couple layers on it just to be sure. Alright, now we've got our meat wrapped back up. All the liquid's drained out. It's only been 5 days, so we're probably going to throw it in for at least another 3 or 4. Let's go ahead and get it back in the refrigerator. we'll check back in 5 days. Well, we just checked on our beef bacon. It's day 5. Drained off about a cup of liquid. We're going to go ahead and discard that. Probably about another cup to follow over the next 3 to 4 to 5 days even. Just keep checking back on your meat, making sure it's not sitting in any liquid, and hopefully the process should just take care of itself. Welcome back, everybody. We're doing beef bacon part 3. We're going to do cold smoking and baking. As you can see, we've got a nice dark brown instead of the bright red color, and a little bit of liquid came out in that last 5-day stint. We're going to go ahead and clean the bottom of this pan out and return the meat still on the rack to the pan. We've returned our meat to our clean pan, and now we're going to wrap it back up. Got it all wrapped up. Use the same plastic as last time with another couple layers of new plastic over the top to get a nice good seal around the edge and a little bit down underneath. The next step, you're going to want to take a paring knife, cut a tiny little hole just in the side right there. And we've got our cold smoking gun fan. We're going to go ahead and place it right, if I can find the hole, there it is. Go ahead and place it right inside. We're going to go ahead and cover this with plastic so it doesn't leak. And we've got a little knot covered in plastic, another layer over the top. Now it's on to the smoking part. For our smoking flavor, we have apple chips. It comes in a variety of flavors. You can buy them pre-chipped. We got cherry, etc., oak. And now that we have it filled up with chips, some on the table, it's time to light it. I like to light the end of a skewer. That way I'm not torching my gun. If you have matches, that works a lot better. And then you're going to go ahead and turn your fan on and start the smoking process. You see it go and fill up the chamber. Kind of spill out a little bit, that's normal. You're going to want to refill this 2 or 3 times as all of your material gets burnt up. The vacuum pulls it and cherries it as your entire chamber starts to really billow with smoke. You see it coming out down there. Alright, first batch looks complete. Let's fill it up again. And turn on your fan. Lighting round 2. Now it really starting to smell like a nice fireplace inside. And as you can see, the smoke does billow out from the little cracks of your places you don't have it completely wrapped. And it's starting to bubble up because we're obviously pressurizing it with cold smoke. And it'll absorb into the proteins more than the fat. Because we haven't actually cooked any of this yet, like a hot smoker, it takes quite a bit more smoke to get the flavor to infuse. Alright, we're going for our 3rd round of smoking. Oh, we got to turn on. Shut that off. If you have a smoke detector in your house, you're probably going to want to cover it or put something or open some windows, which I'm going to go do right now. After the third smoking, we're going to let it sit for about 20 minutes, since it's been sitting out for about 10 minutes during this process. We've got our oven preheated to 200 degrees. We're going to actually cook it right in this pan. Take this plastic wrap off, which will be the next step. And you only want to let it sit and smoke for about 5 minutes, or else the smoke will start to turn stale and make everything taste like an old campfire. Before you throw it in the oven, give it a good pat down with some clean, dry paper towels to remove any excess moisture. And this will help pick up some of that sodium nitrate that all of us don't like eating. Now that we've patted it dry, we've removed the draining rack, fat side down directly into the pan. Let's go ahead and place this in our preheated oven. Say somewhere on the bottom to middle of the oven should be a good place. We're going to keep it at 200 for about 2 hours until the internal temperature reaches 150 degrees Fahrenheit. For this next step, we're going to add some aromatics to the oven. Go ahead and get a small pan, heat it up. You're going to need oil, garlic, and some herbs. I like parsley, rosemary mixed with some thyme. Don't mind the lemon, that's just for show. Alright, once your pan has the lead and frost effect, meaning the water dances around, and you spray water on it, whee! It's time to add your oil. Make sure all that water's gone. Pan's nice and smoking hot. I like avocado oil, has a nice high smoke point. I keep mine in a squirt bottle. Go ahead and start applying. Should start smoking up real nice. That's what you want. Now we're going to add our garlic and our herbs. Ready? Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Boom. Boom. Go ahead and give that a quick stir. Get it with a little bit more oil. Should start to smell garlic roasting, herbs roasting. It's exactly what you want. Throw it into the nice preheated oven right underneath your meat. This is going to add a nice flavor, texture, and profile. This is going to add a nice flavor profile to the finished product. After about a minute or two, you're going to want to spray in some water. It's going to steam it up, prevent the garlic from burning, add some nice steam to the oven. Got a real nice smell coming out of the oven. We're going to take our pan out in about 10 minutes, so we don't want that burning. Last thing we want is burnt smell coming into our meat, but all of this should create a nice flavor for the beef bacon. Should be ready in about an hour and a half. Alright, we're back with a handy digital thermometer. Check our beef bacon. Go ahead and stick it into one side of the meat and get a good reading. So after about 2 hours, we're still a little light on our temperature. It's only 113. Let's go into a deeper spot over here. A lot less on this side. So obviously the thicker side is going to need a little bit longer to cook. It's only at 75. So let's throw it in for another half hour, see what happens. Alright, we've been in the oven for a total of 3.5 hours. Woo, steaming up. Alright, steam subsided. Let's go ahead and get a temperature. About 146, still rising. 147. I think that's safe to say. That'll carry over to 150. Let's get in the deep spot over here. I'm gonna go ahead and test one more spot. 120, 130, 132, 133, 34. Let's go ahead and go in. 142, 143. 146. Pretty close. And there's just this one little pocket in here that seems to be cold, where all this fat is. So I'm going to go ahead and get into another area over here. 148, 150. And that's in the thick spot. Alright, I think she's ready. Alright, after a total of 3 hours and 30 minutes, we've got our beef out of the oven. Looking like this. Got a couple different temp spots, and looks like we're doing pretty good, sitting around 150 at the high deep end. Beef bacon looking juicy, delicious. We're going to let this cool down to room temperature, and then we're going to throw her in the fridge for overnight. We want her nice and firm before we start slicing into her for the morning breakfast. See you in the morning. Alright, good morning. Welcome back. We're going to do our beef bacon this morning. Getting ready to throw some in the oven. Now that we have it on the cutting board, we're going to go ahead and cut it into 3 primal pieces. I guess it would be subprimals, so that we can have something more manageable to work with. Well, we've got cut into 3 beautiful pieces. As you can see, it kind of resembles bacon a little bit. We're going to have some beautiful bacon in about 20 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and put this on the slicer now. We're going to go ahead and put our nice cut side towards the blade. Now that we have our meat snug up to the blade, we can go ahead and start slicing. Got one beautiful slice. Let's go ahead and get a few more slices. We've got about 6 slices, enough for a half sheet tray. Let's go ahead and get it on our pan. Alright, we've got 5 nice thick big pieces put onto a half sheet tray. Add some bones roasting on this, might not add some nice flavor. Got our oven preheated, 350. Let's go ahead and throw them in. We've got all our meat packaged up. I actually had to cut one of the bigger pieces into a couple smaller pieces so I could fit it in the cryovac machine. And you could use regular Ziplocs, is fine. I like to make sure there's no air in my bag so that it can stay fresh as long as possible. Here we have our finished product. It looks like I might have left it in the oven just a little too long, but it's nice and crispy, and we'll see if it's delicious. Wow, that tastes just like bacon. That's crazy. That is crazy good.